Welcome, everybody, to the Operatory Podcast. Of course, the podcast about burying the dinosaurs in dentistry, moving past outdated technology and procedures to find a better way. A little different podcast today. This is the first one, I believe, that I haven't done with either a guest or my phenomenal co-host, David Breyer, providing the patient perspective, because today's podcast is really more about us, dentists. Obviously, everybody not listening today is a dentist, but I wanted to send a message out to the dental community, in particular dentists who are going through a tough time, as we all are right now with the COVID-19 epidemic. It is really an unprecedented time in my career, and I'm sure everybody else who's listening too. And a lot of people are feeling alone. And so I just wanted to put together a podcast with some concrete, smart steps that we can take to try to navigate this craziness together. You know, I like to equate what's going on right now to, we're all going to work every day. We have our chessboard where we might be moving pieces if we're strategizing, or it's just we're going to work as usual. And then somebody came along and just wiped all the chess pieces to the floor, and it's strange, and it's changing every hour. It feels like we're being bombarded by messages from the news organizations, and online social media is just going crazy. And so I walked in on Monday morning, and it felt very different than Friday. This is the day after St. Patrick's Day, where I'm recording this. So it's these last 48 hours, it felt like 48 days. Monday, like I said, people were running around and worried about the health of their parents and their kids. They're scared, they're nervous, and rightfully so. There's so much going on. Scary times, and we're in it together. We'll be on the other side of this. So, I'm seeing notices of dental practices closing down and firing everybody now, and many dentists have reached out to me asking how to handle the situation. So I came up with some steps that I think we should take, that I wanted to pass along to you today on this podcast, and that's why we're doing it a little bit differently. Number one, dental care is fairly routine. We, like I said before, we come to the practice, we fix teeth all day long, and there might be a tooth that looks different than another tooth, or a more difficult root canal, but it is fairly routine. This is different, and it's time to step up, I think, to help our teams and our patients navigate this new normal. We have a responsibility as dentists to lead our teams through the crisis. So I think it's a choice that we have to make. Are we going to focus on the hysteria and the hysterics and what we can't control, or be part of the calm voices of reason that will help look to the other side of this, see what we can do today, and then navigate to hopefully a better tomorrow, where we're more prepared for pandemics like this that are going to invariably happen in the future again. So times of crisis bring out big opportunities for people on the other side. I like to equate this to, even though it's very vastly different, but the last sort of economic downturn that I had in my career was in 2008. Obviously, there was a big drop in the stock market, and what I did was, at that time, I bought a practice that was about the same size as mine, the building that we're currently in, the lot where my house is on, and I kind of went big because I figured either we're all sliding into the abyss together and it doesn't matter, or there will be another side and I'll be better prepared on the back end. And this is one of those times. I think it's the cool heads will prevail. Those of us who prepare to capitalize on the new normal that's going to happen. I don't know if it's in a month or 6 months or a year. I don't think it'll be that long, but who knows? We'll be in a much better position than those who I think are throwing their hands in the air and run around in circles wondering what's going on. So step up, be the leader of your practice, and help make those decisions calmly and reassure everybody around you. Number two, focus, like I mentioned before, on what can be done. This fear is normal, but it shouldn't be minimized or ignored. It's real. The uncertainty yields anxiety. It's a human fact, but it should not get in the way of logic. Let's be rational and make good decisions based on what the information that we have today. That's all we can do. And the two places to focus in your practice are on the actual practice itself. So when in your practice, be sure that you focus on how you can be of service to others and help people in need. There's a huge amounts of need out there. So focus on communicating with your existing patients and even external patients this may be a time that people have time, so they're actually taking care of emergencies. And if you are open for emergency treatments, now's a great time to be communicating those services and taking care of people in need. And then your existing patients, even if you're not open for recall, if you shut down your practice like I have, and you want to be in front of it with patients, let them know that you're here for them, that even though you're not open with regular business hours, you are there for their emergent needs. And when we are back to a new normal, we are capable to take care of this. We have the best sterilization techniques. We are on top of it, right? We want to communicate constantly with patients, more so than today than ever. Obviously, Opera is a program that I helped develop to do that. And so we have mass texting, mass emailing, also on your social channels, drive people to a social channel that you can then keep updating with what's going on with your office. Next, leverage pre-screening forms. The ADA did come out with some recommendations on screenings where you ask people if they have traveled internationally, and then if they have signs or symptoms of coronavirus, if they cough, if they have a fever. So if you have patients that even are coming in for emergency care that do have those symptoms, obviously refer them to a medical professional before addressing their dental needs too. But also make sure that we are taking care of people's pains. We don't want to turn people away, at least assess them. And one great way of assessing people today is through teledentistry. Use a store and forward or an asynchronous communication tool like we have in Opera DDS, where people can send you in full HIPAA compliance photos or video of their mouth, so you can assess whether or not this is a true emergency, whether you should see them, and then also condense your schedule into one tight package and get people taken care of that same day. If they have a broken tooth and you want to do the crown, make sure you can get it done efficiently. Typically, people are triaging over the phone today, and patients have no clue about their oral condition. We typically say that a photo's worth 1,000 words, but in the case of dental emergencies, I think it's more like 1 billion. I don't know who amongst us hasn't had a patient tell us in full, vivid detail a concern that they have with their tooth. Then when they come into the practice, it is 180 degrees completely different than what they said. So we can't rely on patients, what they say over the phone for their oral condition. So make sure to use an emergency triaging teledentistry service. And as a rule, people don't like video conferencing. The only people that I think people want to video conference with is with their grandkids. So they only do it when necessary. So triage through a teledentistry platform that allows for asynchronous communication, like secure texting. Also use your time wisely. This isn't the time to kick back and start watching Netflix or coming in every time a patient calls. Make sure you condense your schedule for you and your team's time, and you leverage online learning. If you haven't had the time, as I haven't, to watch the online learning platforms that you want to, there's great tools out there. Upgrade Dental, we just extended, due to the coronavirus epidemic, the $99 lifetime plan where you can watch about technology selection and implementation. So you can watch the entire series while in the same time, much less time than it would take to watch some TV show on Netflix, and you'll get way more valuable information. Same thing there's tons of online learning platforms, obviously. So now would be the time to kind of leverage that time. And then, of course, make sure to follow the CDC guidelines. Wash your hands like you're scrubbing up in dental school for that oral surgery case. Try not to touch your face, which is a really tough one for me, and use social distancing. We tell people to stay in their cars, and we only text the patient that is coming in for care to come in for care when they need to for emergencies right now, leveraging both the communication and also social distancing, rather than having people wait in a reception area. So hope everybody stays safe out there. If you don't have the teledentistry pre-screening forms, we actually put together a really great package for the COVID-19 pre-screening and teledentistry application that we can get you going for less than 24 hours. We'll get you up and running for less than $90 to help do our part to navigate this crisis together. So if you want to find out about that, go to operadds.com. We have a link on the page. So thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening for this kind of odd version of the Operatory where I'm just talking into the microphone and miss my co-host, but he'll be back next time. Thank you, everybody.